So we do a lot of ship tracking. We try to keep up with where China is deploying. In particular, China is deploying its maritime militia in China.
You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards.
Thankful. Donald Trump has already withdrawn security guarantees for America's allies in Europe.
A Chinese warship cuts across a U.S. destroyer at just 400 meters. Radar locks chirp. Missile systems come alive. One wrong turn means war. But this isn't random aggression, it's calculated signaling. Why did both captains refuse to yield, and how did pure training stop two superpowers from firing the first shot? This is not a newsflash. It's a tactical puzzle that reveals who controlled the chaos in those exact 12 seconds. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. 400 meters of open sea. That's all that separated two guided missile destroyers when their radars locked. In naval terms, that's a handshake distance, lethal if misread. The Chinese ship angled across the U.S. vessel's bow, a textbook crosscut meant to assert presence and test resolve. On both bridges, crew networks snapped into motion.
The second line of defense has already formed back here. I mean, if China decides they're not getting through, they're not getting through. And you've also got some Chinese maritime militia coming down from the north to add to this first line of defense that's formed here.
So it's like a busy military highway in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and I would say, up until a couple years ago, this would have been much, much quieter.
Consoles lit up. Orders echoed in clipped tones. No one spoke outside command nets. Alarms filled the decks, radar chirps, sonar pings, thermal signatures painting targets in red arcs. The sea was calm, but every signal spelled tension. Within those coded tones, each side entered the other's engagement envelope. One sudden flicker on a threat display and this drill could have become the defining naval clash of the decade. Yet under the noise, training anchored both crews in process, not emotion. The captains faced what defense colleges call command responsibility under constrained signaling. Every transmission carried political consequence. Even a warning broadcast wasn't just tactical, it was strategic messaging. You are entering Chinese waters, triggered a response as rehearsed as it was defiant, we operate in international seas. To civilians it sounds like semantics. To navies, it marks the boundary between deterrence and provocation. Doctrine dictated what happened next. The U.S. side operated under freedom of navigation persistence, a principle that values predictability and presence over maneuver. China's crews followed water space assertion, enforcing claim zones through positioning rather than fire. Both read the situation as defense. Both were right by their own rules. The officer of the deck tracked range closure through electronic plots, feeding continuous updates to command. Then came the 12-second lock window, missile guidance fully primed, both vessels within strike parameters. Protocol tightened. The U.S. captain's call broke the standoff, maintain course and speed. That sentence, simple, rigid, deliberate, spelled restraint written into doctrine. But if orders held the line here, what hidden systems made sure instinct didn't end it? Every instinct screamed to brace.
You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards.
Thankful. Donald Trump has already withdrawn security guarantees for America's allies in Europe.
This is all the Philippines' legal exclusive economic zone.
Violating China's terror airspace. Leave now. Leave immediately.
Sea Light has charted a massive build-up since the summer of 2023.
Metal decks hummed under combat readiness, radar locks blared, but hands stayed on controls. Doctrine demanded silence, not reaction. Modern warships are built so no single person can pull the trigger alone. Authority spreads across layers, watch teams, command centers, automated checks, each step verifying the last. This design slows impulse by turning emotion into procedure. Below deck, Sailors watched screens that showed hostile outlines almost touching. Adrenaline surged, yet their language stayed clinical. Words like bearing, closure, and range replaced emotion. When tension peaks, terminology becomes armor. Every phrase filters panic through precision, stripping fear down to data. That's how training rewires instinct. Repetition under stress drills calm into reflex. Discipline runs deeper than courage. Crews rehearse thousands of times what to do when sensors flash red. It's muscle memory, voices stay steady, bodies move in choreographed order. No one raises volume. No one freelances. In that moment, humanity yields to system. The process itself stands guard against mistake.
He now runs a maritime monitoring unit at Stanford University.
So we do a lot of ship tracking. We try to keep up with where China is deploying, in particular China is deploying its maritime militia in China.
That records and publicizes Chinese ship movements in the disputed areas.
This is Chinese Naval Warship 552.
Then escalation paths activated. Both sides elevated readiness. US decks cleared for air cover, Chinese radar simulated a missile launch cycle. Yet the engagement ladder, what strategists call graduated deterrence, stopped the climb. Each step offered delay, a pause to verify, to breathe. By design, it let states warn without firing. The human layer backed it up. Every radar return passed through watch-standing teams before reaching command. Electronic warfare modules cross-confirmed each lock so a glitch could never trigger war. Machines double-checked humans, humans triple-checked machines. 12 seconds passed. No launch. No splash. Systems, not tempers, held. What surfaced later wasn't triumph, it was analysis. The event became a stability incident, a case studied in war colleges for showing that composure and structure can outfight aggression. 400 meters apart, peace endured because process worked. The South China Sea standoff never reached diplomacy. It ended because crews followed drills refined over decades. That muscle memory, built from thousands of silent repetitions, became the barrier between readiness and ruin. Tactical restraint under active radar is not weakness, it's control in its purest form. Wars are often stopped by the side composed enough to think when alarms blare. Calm becomes a shield as real as steel. So, what would you have done, hold course or turn away? Comment your choice below. Subscribe and join a community decoding how discipline, not noise, defines real defense in modern conflict.